Okay, 2150, good luck. So we've not played before, no head-to-head score. Am I reading that right? It says 2150 for my opponent, but it then shows their rating as 2194 on the screen. Yeah, because we had a server issue earlier on, which I've posted a game on where something went wrong in a bullet game. But that says 2150 for my opponent, but the rating doesn't show as 2150 anywhere. Let's take and pawn up, let's pay attention. Let's go play c5, block if check, otherwise develop. Yeah, let's take, let's check. Actually, queen check and back is a normal line here as well, but as long as we can castle, that's what we're trying to do. Actually, I'm mixing my moves up here. Here, across, down, up, down. I'm going to play pawn up first. Again, if check, I can still block. We're both playing it a little bit too quick out of the opening here, but yeah, it says my opponent's 2150 rating. When you hover over, it says 2194. 2070 in Blitz from 1700 games, 2067 Bullet 1400 games, only 97 games in Rapid, so still in the process of building a rating, but it's enough to establish your base mark at enough games. But it looks odd that. It's the first time I've seen that as well. Okay, so queen up is normal, I think, here. Again, if check, I can still block. If we trade, I've got double pawns, but I don't really like the idea of a pawn push, but it's probably fine. But it might weaken my development square. I could still just play the natural queen up and castle. I've got queen up or pawn up. They're my candidate moves I'm looking at. So queen up takes, pawn takes. I think that's a decent move. I'm going to play it. I don't want to burn all my clock. I'm just going to try and get castled and develop and play an endgame. So let's bring the undeveloped knight up. There's nowhere you're going here, so there's nowhere to really go. Now, can we play a move like rook up and pressure the pawn? Maybe knight up as well. I mean, I guess this knight can easily jump. Oh, okay. So here, rook across, rook up, knight over, and he's in time. But here, knight up, rook across. Are we getting trapped? Possibly. I'm going to just push the pawn up then. It's doubled up pawn, so I'm just going to try and push it forward. So let's push. So I don't actually know what my opponent's rating is here. Like you say, it clearly says 2150 there, 2194 there. So some sort of slight glitch. But let's just focus on the game. Right, knight comes forward, so it's going to d6. So I've got knight to d3 myself and hit the rook, hit the pawn. If we can swap these two, that would be pretty good, wouldn't it? So should I just ignore him and play, say, rook up? And say, are you going to defend it? I'm going to move like knight across and knight up. Knight up, he might have g4 and then jump in, maybe. I quite like this actually. I'm just going to play rook up and hit the pawn. It gives me a chance to potentially double up. If we can swap the two outer pawns, it's perfectly good. I mean, good for my opponent as well, to be fair. But we had doubled up pawns, so it would be nice to cancel them out. Knight up, like I say, he might have g4. Because there's no queens on the board, then he kicks me away from pressuring his pawn. It's just whether he wants to defend this or just jump straight in and trade and then hope I'm not missing something, which I could easily be, of course. So I assume I go here now. But then if he does g4, my knight is actually trapped, isn't it? That's why I've got to be careful. Knight in now, g4, and the knight has no squares at all to go to. I don't really want to play rook across, so I'm looking at knight here. If takes, we take. Yeah, I'm going to play knight across. He might actually play rook over to guard. I don't really want to play rook across. I guess it's a move, but I don't really want that. If rook takes, has he got some sort of nasty discovery? Like a nasty pin, possibly. But I might have to play it, though. Yeah, so white's the one with the initiative here. So let's see what we do. Yeah, he has taken, so I assume I need to take back. Yeah, let's not burn all the clock. I'd like to activate my rook, but I'm a bit defensive right now, aren't I? I can't go there. What if I play knight forward then? Oh, knight forward, I just lose my rook, so that's no good. So I need to shift this rook, but where do we go to? Maybe just back here, maybe the c file. Then we guard this knight from a distance. I guess you can attack, but I'm going to go here, just so this knight can move. Not that it's got anywhere to move to particularly. Maybe here. A little bit awkward, isn't it? A little bit awkward. But if you go back, I'm assuming I can find a square somewhere else. I'm not sure where, but I'm assuming I can go somewhere. I mean, if I go here, then the white rook could just come to this file. But yeah, the rook could make its way down. You can imagine something like that happening. Maybe I've just got rook across. Guess you just take. Let's just see. But knight in and we put pressure on f2. Yeah, that's what he's gone for. He's gone for the open file. So if I come here now, you just take. Knight back is no good. Knight back now. Where does this rook go? You take that knight. So knight in to hit f2. Knight back I just take, right? So let's go there. Knight back I simply just trade the knight. Otherwise we're hitting f2 and my opponent's going to do the same at this end. But he might be able to take with a knight threat and a check, and that's a checkmate threat. So that's a bit of a technical problem. But if he comes forward now, there's a back rank issue. But otherwise, once he gets tripled up, again, my knight covers done it in one move now, but if he does get tripled up, there's a threat for knight takes, and then the rooks come in. So what does he do? He might just retreat. He might just drop the rook back where it was. Let's worry about our move when it is our move. What's he going to do? I think the rook will go back to f1, but he might have something more adventurous in mind. He might have, and obviously in any move in any game, you can always be missing something that your opponent sees that you just don't see it until it's too late. Yeah, he has gone back to f1. So can I gamble now and allow him to take either way and then come forward? That's what I'm looking at. That might be feasible. Give up a pawn here, but the whole chain collapses. I've also got knight here, but there's no other way to really pressure the pawn. So I'm just looking at whether it's worth a gamble. Here, you just take, I guess. G5 must be a mistake, weakening the f6 square. Knight here, and I don't see what I'm getting. So I'm looking at taking a big risk here. If knight takes, say we go up, knight could maybe come round, I guess. I'm not sure what else he'd do. Ah. So rook across, rook takes, rook up. Can he move this knight out the way somewhere, and then he guards laterally this way? But then his knight's guarding his rook. That's risky. And the d4 would collapse. I'm going to gamble. I'm going to allow him to take, because I'd rather play for win and lose than just try and hold on for a draw and lose anyway. So that's what I'm looking at, just to put pressure on. It might actually not get me anywhere anyway, but I'm taking a big risk. But if that knight moves, then his pawn is vulnerable in the middle as well. You can imagine once the rook is here, though, if the other rook does then come round, then it's a big problem. It's a big problem. But that's just chess, risk and reward. I'm wondering if I've actually got knight takes straight away here. If takes, check, you'll have to drop back, then double up. But I think he's just got knight across to guard. If g5... That's something to consider. Knight f2, depending on what he does. I think he'd probably take the pawn just because there's not a massive amount of other options to do anyway. But like I say, in any game, in any position, you can always miss something that your opponent sees. But have I got knight takes f2 immediately? Allow rook takes, rook a1 check, rook has to block, then the rook to a2 with a view to trying to take here. So that's what I'm looking at here. Takes, check. If you block with a knight, I just take it. So you've got to block with a rook. Then rook to a2, threatening check. But your knight guards the mate threat anyway, doesn't it? So I don't think it's a move. So I'm just going to stick to my original idea and double up. He might have the simple knight back. We'll just trade and then try and grab on d4 if he plays knight back, I think. So knight back here, I think we just trade, knight takes d4. At least I think we do anyway. But obviously my whole position is collapsing now if my idea doesn't work here, because obviously I've given away my f-pawn, which guards the other pawns. But we do have a bit of time on the clock. Yeah, sometimes you make the mistake, you just don't use the time you've actually got, and then you beat yourself. So what does he do? Does he move his knight? But if he moves his knight, I've got knight takes d4 as a threat at least. But has he got a mate threat? Like, you're probably looking at something like this to create a mating box. It's whether there is one. So knight down, knight takes, knight down. Yeah, he's just dropped straight back. So he's inviting me to take. But knight check, and he's actually covered. But I can take and maybe go to a nice square here. Okay, I'm going to take. I don't think he'll take here, but I'll pre-move in case he does. So obviously, but when my knight moves out the way somewhere, I'm hitting this pawn as well, but the knight covers the other pawn. So I might be better going back to where I was. If I go here, knight takes, pawn takes, he might be able to blast his pawn through, something like that. So he's played knight down, attacking my pawn, but now I can actually come back this way. Oh, if he takes, I go here. He then moves with a discovery, though. That's annoying. So do I chuck my pawn forward then and say it's not doing much defensively, but I don't think I can. I could play a rook back though. Ah, then I lose my knight, don't I? So I can't really do that. I can't do that. So knight back, I just lose it. So I'm looking at knight here. Yeah, but I'm going to have to go to the corner. If takes and I go here, he can drop back with a check. I gain a knight, I lose a rook, and that just feels like I'm lost. So he's setting up a mating net. He's got a mating net, has he? Has he set one up? So I might have to play a rook back here then. I think I might have to do that now. I'm going to do that now. He's maybe got the other rook forward, but then he's got a back rank issue if he plays the other rook down. Then I think I just check. So pre-move in case he takes my rook. But he's down to 30 seconds. But of course, if I use my 3.5 minutes, then that's time my opponent can use as well. But the other rook to f7, and I just check on the back rank. That rook comes forward, we've just got to check here if we need it. Otherwise, just plop the knight back and attack the pawn. Oh, that's a blunder, that's a piece. That's just the pure time pressure. So he's trying to set up a mating net, but I don't think it actually exists. I mean, rook across should be good, but he's got a knight check. King over, knight check, across. So let's not do out silly. But rook check now, I step up, and there's no mate threat because his knight's not guarded. He would need this. So I could play knight back and hit the pawn. I could just play knight back here. Now rook across, is the rook across a move? I guess he just goes this way. But rook across, knight check, I just take here. Let's play rook across. So he's nearly out of time. You've got to play the clock as well position. I think he'd just come across, but he's out of time. Oh, we've managed a very good win that game then. So let's see what we actually played. But it says my opponent 2150. But his rating there is different. That's, yeah, there's some sort of server problems going on. Well, let's see what the engine says that we actually played. Okay, it's already going through the system, is it? Oh, they're the move times. There's no way I've played 100% accuracy, so ignore that. What have we done? 31 moves. According to that, I've done 96% accuracy and my opponent 84. Centipawn lost 11. My average is 32. That's really good. My opponent 26. He just played a game like I would normally play. So that's a really good game. So I played that one pretty well. That's pretty good. So I'm very pleased with that one. I'm not sure what's up with my opponent's rating there compared to that. There's something wrong there, but we got a very good win. Excellent.